class 7th. We are doing chapter number 2 of history, which new kings and kingdoms. In this chapter we already discussed many things, so today we will start from this topic, a closer look the Cholas. Now we will discuss about the Cholas. Here you can see the south side of our India. The bigger part of south side is under control of Chola, and now here you can also see the neighboring areas or the neighboring region with Cholas. So I will circle it for you that you can easily identify that where is Chola and rest of the towns here. Now this is Cholas and these are the neighboring areas or neighboring region nearby Cholas. Here is one biggest temple, Thanjavur and Gangakonda Cholapuram. We will discuss it later. Now first of all, the main point is from Uriyar to Thanjavur. Uriyar to Thanjavur. So in this, the first main important question is, how did the Cholas rise to power? How they get power? How were they get power? A minor chiefly family known as Mutiyar held power in the Kaveri Delta. Kaveri Delta के पास एक मुटियार नाम के जो एक family थी, they are having power, but they were subordinate to the Pallava kings of कांचीपुरम. कांचीपुरम के जो राजा थे उन्होंने उनको सबऑर्डिनेट मीन्स अपने अंडर कंट्रोल कर लिया. विजयाला who belongs to the ancient chiefly family of the Cholas from Uriyar captured the delta from the Mutiyar. In the middle of the 9th century he built the town of Thanjavur and a temple of goddess Nishumbudini there. So here we can discuss that. For this reason there was a war between Cholas and Mutiyar. In this war, Mutiyar lost this war and Cholas captured this region, and then they made two temples here. The first one is Thanjavur and the second one is Nishumbudini here. The successor of Vijayalaya conquered neighboring regions of this region. Kingdoms also grew in size and power. They want to control the other region which is nearby their areas, the Pandya and the Pallav. Pandya और जो Pallav थे, territories to the south and north were made part of this kingdom. They want to control other parts which are nearby the Chola Empire or nearby the Mutiyar Empire, so that the area which is under control of Pandya and Pallav, they are annexed by the Cholas. Now next is Raj Raja. Here is the main point of this paragraph is Raj Raja first considered the most powerful Chola ruler. He was the most powerful Chola ruler, become king in 1985. The Raj Raja first became the king in 1985 and expand control over most of these areas. He was the most powerful ruler, that's why he controlled most of the area which is nearby his territory. He also reorganized the administration of the empire. He was very powerful and very wise person, so that he reorganized the administration system also. Raj Raja's son. Who was the son of Raj Raja first? Rajendra. Raj Raja's son is Rajendra first. Continue his policies and even readied the Ganga valley. Means like his father Rajendra was also a powerful ruler and he conquered the area of the Ganga valley. Sri Lanka and countries of Southeast Asia developing a navy for this expedition. He wanted to control many neighboring states or neighboring areas, so that he started a navy system also, a navy army. He started a navy for this expedition because he wanted to control Sri Lanka also. We know very well that Sri Lanka is an island, so when we go Sri Lanka by from India, then we should have navy, so that the Rajendra, who was the son of Raj Raja, he started navy for this expedition. Now expanded temples and bronze sculpture. Remember one thing class, that the bronze sculpture was very famous in the time period of Chola. The big temples of Thanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram, built by Raj Raja and Rajendra, are architectural and sculptural marvels. Chola temples often become the nuclei of settlements which grew around them. These were centers of craft production. These temples were not only for worship of God, but these are also a center of craft production also. Temples were also endowed with land by the rulers as well as by others. The temples, these temples, it means that these temples emerged with the land which was given by king as well as which was given by the common people also. They produce the produce of this land. Here you can see the picture. This is the temple at Gangaikonda Cholampuram. Notice the way in which the roof tapers. Also look at the elaborate stone sculptures used by the decorate of outer walls. Here you can see the architect of ancient time and medieval period also. Some people who are living nearby the temples and their work is to maintain temple, and also all the specialists who worked at the temples and very often lived near it. The people who worked in temples and they are living near the areas of temple, they are priest means pujari, garland maker means माला बनाने वाले, cooks जो खाना बनाते थे, sweepers and musician, dancer, etc. because they work for temple also. In other words, temple were not only place of worship, they were the hub of economic, social and cultural life as well. Remember one thing that class, that if a temple, for example, we will take example of Haridwar. Haridwar, Vaishno Devi और सालासर, यू कैन टेक एनी ऑफ द एग्जाम्पल कि जिस जगह पे भी टेम्पल होते हैं एट दैट प्लेस सिर्फ और सिर्फ वो मंदिर के पुजारी तक सीमित ना होकर उसके नियर बाय एरियाज में जो लोग रहते हैं उन लोगों तक भी एम्प्लॉयमेंट पहुंचाता है. दे कैन प्रोवाइड गार्लैंड मीन्स माला प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं, प्रसाद प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं आसपास के लोग. टेम्पल से रिलेटेड और भी चीज़ें हैं, माला, हाथ में बांधने वाले ब्रेसलेट्स, मैंने जो थिंग्स हैं वो आसपास के जो मंदिर के पास रहने वाले लोग हैं, दे विल प्रोवाइड दिस टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स सो दैट द टेम्पल एट दैट टाइम एंड इन प्रेजेंट टाइम ऑल्सो द टेम्पल्स were not only the place of worship only, they were the hub of economic, social and cultural life as well. They affect our cultural, social and economic life also. Next is, amongst the craft associates with the temples, the making of bronze images were the most distinctive. Means in that time of period, the bronze images were most famous at the time. Chola bronze images are considered amongst the finest in the world. पूरे वर्ल्ड में जो finest quality की जो bronze images हैं वो चोला टेम्पल के दौरान की मानी जाती है. Here you can see one picture also that समटाइम्स सिर्फ भगवान की ही ना होके बल्कि जो डिवोटीज होते हैं, जो भक्त होते हैं, देयर इमेजेस वर आल्सो मेड बाय द आर्टिशंस. While most images were of deities, sometimes images were made of devotees as well. Deities के अलावा devotees की भी पिक्चर इमेज बनाई जाती थी. Now next point is agriculture and irrigation. Agriculture and irrigation. Agriculture means farming and irrigation means when we provide water to our production. Many of the achievements of the Cholas were made possible through new development in agriculture. They were not famous only in the form of temples, in bronze images, but also in agriculture and irrigation also. Look at the map, look at map 2 again, we will see it again. Notice that the river Kaveri branches off into several small channels before emptying into the Bay of Bengal. When the river Kaveri, at last when the river Kaveri mixed into the Bay of Bengal, before mixing it, before जब उससे मिलने से पहले, it divided into several parts. It divided, the river Kaveri divides into several parts. These channels overflow frequently. जो उसके जो छोटे छोटे channels हैं जिन parts में वो divide होती है, it will overflow frequently and deposit fine soil on their banks. अपने किनारों पर एक fine quality की जो soil है उसको spread कर देगी, so that it will provide a fertile land for agriculture also. Water from the channels also provide the necessary moistures of agriculture, particularly the cultivation of rice. It provide, we know very well that in south side rice is a staple food. So in these area the land is suitable for cultivation of rice. Because of the river Kaveri, when it mixed into the Bay of Bengal, before it divided into several channels, and these several channels overflow frequently, and it provide a fine quality of soil which is very important and which is very good for cultivation of rice. Although agriculture had developed earlier in other parts of Tamil Nadu, it was only from the 5th or 6th century that this area was opened up for the large scale cultivation. In the time period of between the 5th and 6th century, the land is opened up for large scale cultivation. The farming is possible here. Now the next is, forest had to be cleared in some regions. Land had to be leveled on in other areas. In the delta region, embankment had to be built to prevent flooding, and canals had to be constructed to carry water to the field. In many areas, 2 crops grown in a year. In this area, the water facilities are very good, so that at the mixed cropping was the main important point here. In many years or in many areas, 2 crops were grown in a year, so that they provide or they give more production. In many cases, it was necessary to water crops artificially. A variety of methods were used for irrigation. In this paragraph, only some main point are there, that water quality is good, the land is also good, the river Kaveri provide good land for agriculture, so that the production of rice is good here, and sometimes the land and water is also good, so that the many crops, multi-cropping system is also followed in the time period of Chola. Now next is the administration of the empire. It means how the administration organized. Here in this paragraph we will discuss how the administration works. Settlement of peasant means kisan, known as Ur. Here I will make a small diagram for helping you, that I will make some small circle here. You can see I made 3 or 4 just to explain you. Now a big circle, now again a big circle, now again a big circle. In this picture I will show you that when a group of people, a group of peasants, they are living in one community, it's called Ur. It's called Ur. Suppose this is this one circle, this small circle, it is not only one house, it is a group of settlements of peasants. It is a settlements of peasant means जब कई सारी बस्तियां बनाई जाती हैं, so it is a settlement of peasants. And when we combine many settlements of peasants, or when we combine Ur, the settlement of peasants is known as Ur. When we combine Ur more than 3 or 4, it's called village. And when we combine many villages, it's called Nadu. It's called Nadu. I will write here or I will circle here. Here you can see the term Ur, and the second one is Nadu. I will explain it again, that a small circle means settlement of peasants, means bastiyan, जो किसानों की बस्तियां, it's called Ur. When we combine Ur कई सारे जो बस्तियां बनी होंगी जब किसानों की, इट्स कॉल्ड ए विलेज. Then when we combined many villages or group of such villages, one village, two village, three village or many villages, it's called Nadu. It's called Nadu. Here you can see or read the term settlement of peasants. Sorry, I will underline it. Settlements of peasants known as Ur become prosperous with the spread of irrigation agriculture. Groups of such villages, here I draw for you that group of such villages formed larger units called Nadu. Largest unit called Nadu. It is a one word answer also. What do you mean by Ur or what do you mean by Nadu? Its settlement of peasants is known as Ur. When we combine many villages or group of such villages is known as Nadu. The village council and the Nadu performed several administration functions including dispensing justice and collecting taxes. Now the work of people to control Nadu or to control Ur, they will collect tax from here and as well as they do justice for the people of villages. Now one main point is here also. Rich peasants of the Vela caste exercise considered control over the affair of the Nadu under the supervision of central Chola government. Vela means Vela. Vela is a South Indian word. It means it control. The work of Vela is to control the affairs of Nadu. Here we can see the group of such villages are called Nadu. When a group of person control over the Nadu, it's called Vela. Here main points are there that how they select their Nadu. Before explaining it, how they select their Nadu, Vela, I will explain you some type of land. This is the most important point, that types of land. It means Chola inscriptions mention several categories of land. In that time in Chola Empire, when the land was given to non-Brahman peasants, पुजारियों को दिए, किसानों को दिए जाने वाला वो किसान जो नॉन ब्राह्मण है, मीन्स जो ब्राह्मण नहीं है, उन किसानों को दिए जाने वाली जमीन, इट्स कॉल्ड वेलन वेगई. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज ब्रह्मदेवा. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टर्म, ब्रह्मदेवा. इन दिस द लैंड गिफ्टेड टू ब्राह्मण्स. When any land is gifted to Brahmans, it's called Brahmadeva. Now next is Shala Bhoga. It means land for the maintenance of school. Shala, we know very well. Shala, we use this term for school also. Pathshala, like this. So the land which was given by the kings for to maintenance of school, it's called Shala Bhoga. Now next is Devdana. Devdana means land gifted to temples. Next is Palli Chadam. It means when the land donated to Jain institution. It's called Palli Chadam. I will repeat all the terms. Velan Vegai means when the land give to non-Brahman peasants. Next is Brahmadeya. It's mean when the land gifted to Brahmans. When the land for the maintenance of school is known, Shala Bhoga. Devdana means when the land gifted to temples. मंदिर के लिए दान दी गई जमीन, इट्स कॉल्ड देवदाना. एंड द लास्ट इज पल्ली चदम. इट्स कॉल्ड व्हेन द लैंड डोनेटेड टू जैन इंस्टीट्यूशन. इफ द लैंड इज गिवन टू एनी जैन इंस्टीट्यूशन, इट्स कॉल्ड पल्ली चदम. Now for every land, persons were elected to control over that land and for the maintenance of that particular land. How the man is elected, the process is very different from nowadays. In this process, name of these eligible to the members of these committees were written on the small tickets of palm leaves. पाम लीव्स के ऊपर, पाम लीव्स की मतलब लीव्स पत्तियों के ऊपर they will write the name of eligible candidate and they will keep this palm leaf in a pot, and then one small boy will come and choose any pick any leaf, and then he will be the controller of this land, or he will be appointed as the maintenance of the land. The Sabha had separate committee to look after irrigation work, gardens, temples. The person who will maintain irrigation works, garden, temples, etc. Name of these eligible to be member of this committee were written on small tickets of palm leaves. These tickets were put into an earthenware pot, from which a young boy was asked to take out the tickets one by one for each committee. For each committee, a boy will come and he will pick a leaf, and the name which was written on the particular leaf, he will be appointed as the as for the maintenance of these temples or many more things. So what are the requirements what are the requirements to become a member of this Sabha? The first is, all those who wish to become member of this Sabha should be owner of the land from which land revenue is collected. They should have their own homes. जो भी अपॉइंट किए जाएंगे उनके अपने खुद के घर होने चाहिए. They should be between 35 and 70 years of age. Their age should be in between the 35 and 70 years. Next, they should have knowledge of Vedas. उन्हें Vedas की जो knowledge है वो होनी चाहिए. They should be well versed in administrative matter and honest. उन्हें administrative matters की पूरी जानकारी ज्ञान होना चाहिए, and they should be honest also. If anyone has been a member of any committee in the last 3 years, he cannot become a member of another committee. अगर कोई आदमी किसी कमेटी का पिछले 3 सालों में member है, then he will not become a member of any other committee in next year. Anyone who has not submitted his account and those of his relative also cannot contest the election. अगर कोई अपनी संपत्ति और अपने रिश्तेदारों की संपत्ति का ब्यौरा जमा नहीं करवाएगा, so he cannot be the contest the election, वो election नहीं लड़ पाएगा. So कुछ terms इसकी ऐसी हैं जो similar हैं nowadays. So these are the terms which was followed by the member of the Sabha. Thank you so much class. This is all about your chapter number 7. I hope it will be clear to you. Thank you.